Our first short-term objective is in order to improve respiratory support for speech, the client will use diaphragmatic breathing and produce vowel prolongation for 10 seconds, given visual and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So the strategy that we're using is maximum vowel prolongation. So today we're going to practice prolonging our vowels and holding them for 10 seconds. We're going to use the vowel ah, and we'll complete this 5 times. And as you're doing so, I want you to pay attention to your diaphragm. Make sure that your shoulders stay down when you breathe and that you're pushing the air down and out through your stomach. Okay, so I can demonstrate first. So we'll do So whenever you're ready, go ahead. Okay, so that was your first one. Make sure you take a really deep breath. You can do that for the second time. Go ahead. Perfect. Okay, and our third time. All right, very good. Number 4. Perfect. Okay. And I noticed that your shoulders went up a little bit, so just make sure that you're relaxed here and that you're bringing that breath down into your diaphragm so your stomach is moving outward. Okay? This is your fifth trial. Go ahead. Great. Okay, so for our next short-term objective, it is as follows. In order to improve respiratory support for speech, the client will demonstrate appropriate respiratory control by speaking at the onset of exhalation at the phrase level, given visual and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So this strategy is controlled exhalation tasks. So we'll go ahead and go through each phrase. You're going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhalation, you're going to start the phrase. So, I'm not done.
Okay. I'm not done. I'm very tired.
Very nice.
I'm going home. It's too hot. I don't feel well. I took my medicine. Oh, I feel like I have to exhale.
Yeah, okay. Let it all the way out. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. He is mad. Is it lunchtime? Maybe later. Come in.
Very nice job. And it should be noted that as treatment progresses, we would do this in more functional tasks like conversation. So instead of taking a big breath every single time, we would balance those breaths out in order to maintain a more natural control over your respiration. Okay, so moving into phonation. The short-term objective, we have to attain optimal phonation, the client will demonstrate breathy onset of 2 to 3 word phrases given visual and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So our strategy is breathy onset, and this is typically used for individuals with vocal fold hyperadduction. So we have the following phrases. I will demonstrate. So we have, thank you. Just adding a little bit of breath at the beginning of the phrase to help you move through that and phonate or turn your voice on.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. That sounded great.
What's that? Be careful. Excuse me. Good morning. It's my birthday. How are you? Let's eat. I need water. What's your name?
Great. That sounded really good. How did you feel about that?
It felt a little weird, but because I was focusing, I think, too much. But
Well,
okay.
it sounded like you eased into each of those phrases. So
Okay.
nice job. Okay, for our next short-term objective, we have to attain optimal phonation, the client will demonstrate conversational loudness of at least 50 decibels during sentence reading tasks in masked conditions given visual and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive treatment sessions. So our strategy is auditory masking, and this is usually used for clients with hypophonia. So we have the following phrases. I'm going to give you the headphones. You can put that in, and I'm just going to play some white noise in the background, and I want you to speak at a volume that is appropriate with that white noise. So you can go ahead whenever you're ready. Number 1.
Jen went to the bookstore.
Great.
Is that
Number 2.
mine?
That sounded great.
She was looking for novels. She went to the mystery section.
Good.
She selected Gone Girl. Next, she found romance novels. She chose Pride and Prejudice. Jen also chose Jane Eyre. She bought the books. She left the store. She was excited to read.
Nice job. That sounded like an appropriate loudness level. At times it was a little soft, but I think you did well. You can take your headphones out. So next, moving to resonance. Our short-term objective is, in order to reduce hypernasality, the client will produce appropriate nasality when reading sentences given a mirror and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So the strategy here is feedback using the mirror, and we have 10 sentences. So I'm just going to hold this compact mirror under your nose. And if we see that the mirror fogs up, this means that air is coming out of your nose. So we can address that. So go ahead whenever you're ready.
Just read the phrases. Bert went antique shopping. He looked around. He found old books. He looked at records. Bert kept searching. He saw a baseball cap. It was 50 years old. It barely looked used. Bert put on the hat. It was a perfect fit.
Great. So I noticed some occasional fogging, but I noticed that at appropriate endings of the phrases. So when you were breathing out, it wasn't on any of the specific sounds or words. So it was normal, like breathing out of your nose. So for our next short-term objective, we have, in order to reduce hypernasality, the client will yawn while producing monosyllabic words using appropriate mouth opening, lip and tongue movement, and forward projection, given visual and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So our strategy here is the yawn technique, and you typically start with monosyllabic words, which will be demonstrated, but as intervention progresses, you would increase to phrases, then sentences. Okay, so we can do the first 5 words. So I will demonstrate. So using the yawn technique, you'll just initiate a yawn, nose, and then move into the word like I just did. Do you have any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll try.
Whenever you're ready.
Nose.
Nice
Okay.
job. Mhm.
Okay. Jam. Thumb.
Perfect.
Hand. Fake.
Nice job. So I didn't notice any abnormal moments of hypernasality. So that's really great. We'll move on to articulation. So our short-term objective for articulation is in order to increase intelligibility, the client will independently produce 4-syllable words given verbal prompts with 80% accuracy across 3 consecutive sessions. And the strategy is articulatory drills at the word level. And we have 4-syllable words. And we have this list of words here, and I will have you read them aloud, and I will give you feedback, and I will also ask you to rate your intelligibility. So whenever you're ready, you can read the first word.
Environment.
Great.
Anything else? Just keep reading.
Yeah, sure.
Technology.
Perfect.
Emergency.
Mhm.
Responsible. Biology.
Perfect. How is that feeling for you?
Pretty good.
How intelligible do you think you are on a scale of 1 to 5?
I think it was pretty high. 4.
Okay, I would give you a 5, actually.
Okay,
You're doing
good.
really well. Okay. Let's continue with this word.
Entertainment.
Mhm.
Economics.
Sure, I heard a little hesitation and that but I heard all of the correct speech sounds. How did you feel about that one?
I got stuck in the middle.
Okay, go ahead and repeat that one.
Economics.
Perfect.
Understanding.
Mhm.
Elevator.
Yes,
Occupation.
perfect. Great job. Okay, so for our next articulation goal, the short-term objective is as follows. In order to increase intelligibility and articulatory strength, the client will demonstrate non-speech tasks, that is, the jaw, lips, and tongue against resistance, given visual models and tactile cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So the strategy is oral motor exercises, and it is used to increase strength. So first, I have this spoon here. I'm going to apply slight pressure to your jaw. I want you to protrude it as best as you can. So like that. Perfect. Nice job. All right, and next we will do the lips. So I want you to protrude your lips and prevent me from putting the spoon through your lips. So making sure that that seal is tight. Nice. Great. And next we'll do the tongue. So I want you to protrude your tongue like this. And I'm going to apply slight pressure. I want you to push it forward. Okay. And next we will go to the side. So I want you to apply pressure against my resistance on your cheeks, but I want you to stick your tongue through your cheek. And the other side. As far as you can. Great. Okay, perfect. So next we'll move into prosody and rate. In order to improve intelligibility, the client will demonstrate optimal rate of speech during production of functional sentences given verbal models and verbal cues in 80% of opportunities across 3 consecutive sessions. So this strategy we will be using a pacing board, which is shown here. And we have short sentences. So I will model. So the first sentence we have is, I went to the store. So we can use our pacing board to make sure that we are keeping an appropriate rate of speech. So I went to the store. Okay, so you can use your pacing board, sure, for the other sentences.
So start with the second one.
Yes.
This is for you.
Nice job. Next one.
Where did they go?
Great.
May I have water?
Great job. And I really liked how you changed your inflection to make it sound like a question. Really nice job. Next one.
What time is it?
Nice job. Next one.
I need help.
Next one.
What do you want to eat?
Great. Nice job. Next one.
It is cold in here.
Great job. Next one.
I don't enjoy that.
Very nice. Next one.
I enjoy that.
Very nice job. You did a great job keeping a nice steady pace, as well as changing your inflection of your voice to place stress on meaningful words and demonstrate when you were commenting on something, stating something, or asking a question. Really nice job. Okay, so next up, the second rate and prosody objective is, in order to increase intelligibility, the client will demonstrate optimal loudness levels during production of CV syllable shapes given verbal cues in 80% of opportunities. So the strategy is loudness exercise as a part of vocal intonation therapy. And the syllable shapes that we can use are me, may, and ma. So I'm going to play the recording of the piano. You can just listen to the piano and the notes first, and then I will have you follow along and do it. But the first round, we'll just listen. Okay, so you notice how as I went up that short scale, I increased my loudness and decreased my loudness. And on the last note, I crescendoed or increased my loudness again. So I will have you follow along with this, producing me. And this is to practice our loudness levels that can help us with our rate and our naturalness of our speech.
I should try to make those notes like you did.
Yes. Do you need to listen to it one more time, or are you okay?
I'll try.
Okay. Yeah, just do your best. And focus on changing that loudness.
Okay.
Nice
I
job.
ran out of breath.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Yeah. So for the other trials, we can focus on taking a deep breath using our diaphragmatic breathing like before, and that will help us change our loudness levels. But we can move on and come back to that if we need to. So lastly, we have apraxia of speech. And the short-term objective is, in order to increase intelligibility, the client will use appropriate articulatory accuracy during imitation of functional sentences with 80% accuracy given verbal prompts and verbal cues. So I will read each sentence first, and you will follow by repeating. The car is frozen.
The car is frozen.
I need a shovel.
I need a shovel.
I am overwhelmed.
I am overwhelmed.
Go to the grocery store.
Go to the grocery store.
I need milk and eggs.
I need milk and eggs.
Is it snowing outside?
Is it snowing outside?
He delivered the mail.
He delivered the mail.
You received a package.
You received a package.
Time to leave.
Time to leave.
I need to rest.
I need to rest.
Very nice job. I heard all of the appropriate speech sounds. Okay, and lastly, our last short-term objective is in order to increase intelligibility, the client will use appropriate speech rate when reading a passage with 80% accuracy given verbal cues and tactile cues. So the strategy that we're using here is finger tapping. So the passage that we have is taken from a news article called Healthcare Workers Stuck in Snowy Traffic with Expiring COVID Vaccines Go Car to Car, Offering Them to Drivers. So I'll have you read the first two paragraphs. And when you get to a word that is tricky or that has more than 2 syllables that are a little more difficult, you can use that strategy of finger tapping to really concentrate on both pieces of apraxia, so that intelligibility piece, getting all the correct speech sounds, as well as the rate or the pacing of the word. Okay, so whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and read that aloud.
Okay. With COVID vaccines in short supply, waiting times are not unusual, but not for those stuck in traffic alongside these dedicated healthcare workers who made sure that fresh doses didn't go to waste. During last Tuesday's snowstorm in Oregon, this inoculation crew found themselves stranded in a traffic jam. Rather than let vaccine doses expire, they hopped out of their vehicles and braved the cold, walking car to car looking for people eager to receive the shots.
Nice job. How did that sound and feel?
Pretty good.
Good. I agree. I think you did a really nice job using the finger tapping strategy to get through some of those more difficult words like vehicles or inoculation. So very nice job with that. The last thing I'm going to recommend is that you practice some vocal hygiene and some breathing exercises. So make sure that you're drinking enough water, because I know that can affect your voice, especially as it gets later on in the day. So as you go about this week, just continue to focus on that piece as well. Really nice job today.
Thank you.